Well, I'm excited today. My good friend Allan Jones has set up a discussion with Lisa Lovelace, who is the president and CEO of Bradley Medical Center. I'm looking forward to it, and I think this might answer a lot of questions. It's going to be a great discussion. So one reason, Allan, that you're so interested in this, or that comes to the front of your mind, is that you were actually the first child born at Bradley Memorial. Is that correct?
Correct.
What year?
That was 1952, December 31st, 1952. So it took me till I was about 40 years old to realize that I need to use 53 as my birth date when I calculated things, because it was only 17 hours of the year was I correct. But the hospital opened December 30th, 1952, and I was born the next day. And then on January 1st, my picture was in the paper about, on the front page, the new $1 million hospital, and William Allan Jones Jr. was born.
And it's been in there ever since.
It is. Occasionally I have to defend my title, and I just show them that picture.
Well, that's interesting. Now, that was when the front door was on the front, right?
Yeah, they moved it to the
They
back.
moved it to the back.
That's right.
Well, now see, it was Bradley
Moved
Memorial.
to the side.
To the side, yeah, which is probably a better entrance, right?
Yeah, it is. It's better entrance.
So, what was it after Bradley Memorial?
So it went from Bradley Memorial, and then it went to Skyridge.
Skyridge.
And then it went to Tenova, and it stayed Tenova until Vitruvian Healthcare bought it. And then we felt like it was very, very important that we honor the tradition of who we are, and we renamed it Bradley Medical Center at that time.
Which is basically what I still call it, Bradley Memorial, you know.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
stayed there. I was there 5 days when it was Skyridge, and it was great. So, but, well, it's interesting. Let's see, I can't remember how long it's been. I remember when they gave you that position, and what was that, a year ago or a year
It's
and
a year and a half. It was in
half?
August of 2024.
August, boy, it seems like a long time in some ways. In other ways, it seems like just a few days.
There's been a lot going on during that time. We've been nonstop busy.
Did you ever think that you'd be in this position?
It was never really my goal. I'll be honest. I worked next to Coleman Foss as the CEO there for 13 years, and I was also at Cleveland Community Hospital at the time of the acquisition. And quite frankly, I could have been CEO somewhere else a long time ago, but that would mean that I would have to relocate. And I am committed to this community. So I stayed, making career limiting decisions, and stayed here because I'm dedicated to this community. So when I went to what was then Hamilton Medical Center or Hamilton Healthcare System, I was excited to work for a non-for-profit. And I knew that they were interested in this hospital, but I really didn't think that CHS would ever sell it to them. And lo and behold, 2 years later, we started having conversations with them after I had been there during that time. And when we bought it, Jeff Myers asked me if I would take it and come home. And I knew that I was going to be involved. I knew that I could do the role, but that was not my goal. My goal has always been to do what's best for this community, because this is my heart, this is my hometown, and we deserve that as a community.
I've noticed it seems like everybody works there now. You're really community-based. Even the doctors, even my doctor's on there, Dr. Sheik. Well, he's the best.
I brought him to town a long time ago under Cleveland Community.
Didn't he
He's my
come-
doctor too.
Oh, is that right? Boy, isn't he the best?
He's awesome.
Or I guess you can't say that he's the best, but he is. I can say he's the best.
I can say he's awesome. I can say that.
Yeah.
And he's also our chief medical officer
thought-
at the hospital.
I didn't know that. I thought he came originally with Bill Motes.
He did. He came in with Bill Motes, and he had to do some service in an underserved area for a period of time. So he worked with Bill. He and Bill and I all are friends. And so when he left Bill, he came to work in Cleveland, and we employed him at Cleveland Community Hospital And then I helped him go private when he decided to go private.
I really like him.
He's a great man.
So, what about the video you put up? It's got what, 54,000 views now? 55?
I believe it does. I don't know how many. If it's doing any good or
that's
not.
quite a bit.
It's a big issue, and the reason it's a big issue is that it's our hospital. And as soon as this group came in, the first thing, and this is why I got involved, Dee, just as a volunteer to try to help. For the first time, we now have a community hospital again. Before, when we sold that for $60 million years ago, I called the county commission. It's a mistake to sell our hospital. We sold it, took the money, put it the United Way, the county gets some, and you live off the interest. Well, the guys down in Dalton own theirs. And the problem with our hospital, the way I saw it, is our hospital was owned by the county, commission, the county, which means the county commission would appoint the directors. And they were appointing directors, like one of my guy I knew appointed his next door neighbor as a favor to her. Well, she didn't have a clue what to do with this huge hospital. It was very prestigious for her, but she couldn't run the hospital. On the other hand, in Dalton, Georgia, they had the leaders, they had the top industry people sitting on theirs, and they had something called a hospital authority. And the hospital authority doesn't come, it's a nonprofit, it's like Erlanger, it's a nonprofit, and it doesn't come in under any political control. And they've got the top industrialists down there, and these guys have built an unbelievable operation down there. So when I saw them coming in, I can now get involved to try to help. I can give money now to the hospital. Before you couldn't donate money to the hospital. You ought to see the People's Cancer Center down there. Is that Shelby Peoples?
That's
My
correct.
friend Shelby Peoples.
That's right.
I had no idea. He's never talked about, how much did he donate to you all? 10 million?
More than that. I can't recall. It was before my time. I'm thinking it was more like 30 million.
30 million?
I think that's right. I would want to fact check that.
I know, but and then you got these people who are able to give this type of money, and it's something that I want my family to take a look at doing, because we can get behind this with the community. And then suddenly, as soon as they buy this thing, the first thing they do is the company was landlocked. And they go and they start buying all this land and paying huge prices for it, but they get all the land around the hospital bought up. I mean, they've got, I don't know, how much have you spent on this land?
Well, we've bought 12 acres of property around the hospital. So we're no longer landlocked. We base, not everything, but almost everything from Chambliss over to Ocoee Street. So
Did y'all go across Ocoee Street and buy something, maybe Snowman's property?
We haven't purchased Snowman's property
Maybe
yet.
the one to the right?
Oh, you bought across the street?
Yes.
The 4 acres over there?
That's correct. We bought the 4 acres.
So you got and they just closed on, or they're getting ready to close on Bach Funeral Home?
That's correct.
There. So the 12 acres is 3 times bigger than what you have. So their campus is now 3 times bigger. So now they're set to build medical facilities and things like that nobody else. And this group is so smart, they knew they had to stop that. And it's the first thing they solved. It took them about 8 months to acquire all that.
That was a big undertaking, wasn't it? I mean,
Yes. And that was managed and approved and supported by the Vitruvian board, but it's just who they are and what they do in Dalton as well. I think if you look at and go to Dalton and you see what all that they have there, that's the kind of health care we want to have in our community. It's the same size from a population standpoint. It's the very same size.
It's our relatives.
It's our relatives.
It's our relatives.
Well, they're 30,000 people. We're 50,000 people.
Well, I was talking about the county. The county numbers are very similar.
All right, the county numbers.
Yes.
All right, the city numbers is they're 30,000,
You're correct.
we're 50,000.
You're right about that.
And now, the only thing we beat you in Dalton on is the airport.
Yes.
Which, ironically, wasn't it an authority rather than something that the county commission That's interesting. Boards versus authorities.
All right, how that came about.
Explain that.
How the airport authority came about is I got into a battle in the collection business years ago, and I went down to Hamilton Medical Center, and a guy named Storm and Norman Burkett, the old bull and the young bull, we got into it a little bit, and I got the board to meet me down there. And I wanted the collection business, and he didn't want to give it to me. And I saw that he had a hospital authority, and I saw I couldn't get to him politically. And I thought that was a damn good idea.
Yeah.
So I ended up, I remember when I demanded a meeting with the board, see, Bradley Memorial's board of directors was like a used car salesman would show up. The first guy that showed up was Jack Turner, drove in a Bentley. I'd never seen a Bentley before. I was blown away. This guy's the CEO of a huge company. I mean, he could follow the numbers very well. But what happened there, and I think this is important to know, is when I saw we went 30 years without building an airport, I got the city commission to agree, the city council to agree to set up let's create an airport authority, and I copied the Hamilton Medical Center hospital authority because they've been so successful. Then I went out and paid $2 million, and I bought that land out of my pocket, and we put together the five-man board, and we built a $40 million airport that has saved Whirlpool, it's brought Bacher in, it's brought millions and millions of dollars in, and that's because we used their form to get that set up. The city couldn't do this. So
Which is authority based, I guess, is the difference.
It's not controlled by the county.
Right.
It's a separate nonprofit, and the money stays here. See, the money, there's nobody. I mean, they pay the employees' salaries, but every time we make enough money. Every time they make enough money, they're going to go out and hire more people, build more buildings, and all the money gets poured back in. All the profits, which the company has to build a profit because we want to build new buildings and bring in new positions.
And also, medicine is such a. I mean, you can get in a situation where you can have a medical problem, and it can wipe out 2 generations of people because of who knows what. It's just so important to me for medical not to be for profit.
I agree with you.
I mean, I don't want my police to be for profit.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
But I don't really know the difference. I had the CEO of Park Ridge here. Of course, he's got good arguments too, I guess. But what's your experience? You worked for a hospital that was for profit, and you've worked for one that's nonprofit. Is there any difference that the customer would know? Because that's all that matters to us.
In my opinion, the answer to that is yes.
What would be?
And I think it's about publicly traded for-profit, right? Rather than profit versus not-for-profit. For example, Life Care is a for-profit, but they're not publicly traded. So I think that when you're looking at returns on your stock price.
You mean like stock market and they're waiting for the earnings to come out for some NASDAQ company and everybody waits to see what the stock. So that's what these other hospitals were doing.
That's what for-profit publicly traded does. That's correct. CHS did that. CHS was who owned Tenova, and again that I worked for them for a really long time. They made me a great operator. They gave me great experience. But I can tell you that it was all. Everything, I mean, you had to return stock price. I mean, you had to have profits, and they didn't come back into the community. The money that was made was sent back to the corporate office, and then if you had special projects like cardiology, et cetera, then you provided them with a pro forma, and regardless of what you made last year, you would have to kind of defend your position to get the capital for that. So it's not necessarily your capital that if you made it goes back into a corporate entity and you submit projects to them to get the capital to support something. I think that another thing that we need to realize with healthcare, and it's so confusing. I know I work in it, and it's hard for me to keep up with sometimes, but really healthcare is population based. I know we like to talk about free enterprise, and there's truth to that too, but if somebody walks into our ER, we're taking them, whether they have the means to pay or not. That's a federal requirement. So when you look at the free enterprise situation and you want to have an ASC, or you want to have an ambulatory surgery center, or you want to have a diagnostic imaging center, those are profit lines that come off of a hospital's ability to kind of have those loss leaders in the ER and then provide the care across the market. The other thing too is that I would think about is the population dictates what you can really bring into the market. So if we have, let's say, if we can include Polk County, we're around 130,000 roughly of people in the county and in Polk County that we can serve. If you're looking at things like cardiology, let me just use that one for an example. The population ratio, the medical population ratio, states that in this area there's about 4 physicians that are needed who can be successful if they're keeping the volume here. That's how many this area needs.
Now define successful.
If solvent. Okay. That's what it means.
That's a big
solvent.
That's significant.
So if you look at how many physicians do you need in a specialty, and the specialties are different. So, if one rheumatologist can support basically our population, but from a cardiology perspective, that's about 30,000 people that requires to have one physician in the market. And so what happens when you look at a freestanding ER versus an ER where you walk in, they still have to take the people who come in, but our specialty physicians are absolutely dependent upon the consults that they get in the ER that won't stay here. That's not what happens.
So that's just reality.
That's just the way it is. I mean, it's just the business of medicine.
Yeah, like it or not, right?
Yeah.
It's a pack and ship project. It's just like any type of pack and ship. They're going to package you up and ship you to Chattanooga. And when that goes to Chattanooga, then our cardiologists need the business. And here's another thing. If you go in there, they're not going to have cardiologists. They're going to have emergency room physicians in there, and that's going to stabilize you. If you're having a heart attack, you're having a heart attack. They're going to stabilize you and hope you live to Chattanooga. But Bradley Memorial Hospital is is after the best cardiologists. They've got a whole team of orthopedic guys that are here, and they're bringing in new specialists all the time. So if you come in and you have a heart attack, they've got cardiologists right here. They got a whole team of people here that they have access to.
And I guess they have them 20 miles away too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, in Dalton.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't that some advantage?
For sure, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
In Dalton, for cardiology, they actually have cardiac surgery. They are providing, because they've been so unified in what they've done in Dalton, they are able to have higher levels of care than we can do here at this time.
So we get to play off their
strengths.
Strengths.
Yes.
They're doing open heart surgery down there.
Yes, they
in
are.
Dalton. And we're not. They have to go to Chattanooga. But that's what they're trying to. But they're going to get to the point that they're going to bring that here where they have their own. If you have to have open heart surgery, you're going to have it here. Heart stents are done right here now. You don't have to go to Chattanooga to get a heart stent. You can do it right here. So we got to be able to bring in these top people. But I'm telling you, if you let these guys, the way it's going right now, you give them about 2 or 3 years, you're going to see a whole different world of Bradley Memorial.
When you looked at, originally, if you looked at Cleveland Community Hospital versus Bradley Memorial Hospital back in those days, and we all remember that, right? So, I was working with Cleveland Community at that time and was a part of that merger. And the thing that I feel like is the most beneficial things, and I could name things that were not beneficial, but the thing that was most beneficial in the two entities coming together is it made it possible for us to have a cardiac program. We started a cardiac program allowing patients to come into our ER that we could then take care of real time. If you were having a heart attack, we could treat it here. But when you're splitting that population, it's harder to do that. Either the hospital is subsidizing or paying for the difference if they have more than the community can support, and they're going to Chattanooga. And if you look at Chattanooga, they have about 390,000 in Hamilton County. That's, if you do the math, there are 3 hospital systems in Hamilton County. That's about the same population as we have here. And for decades, they have depended on us in Cleveland to transfer their higher levels of care to them. And now there's kind of a shift in that because we're getting to the point that we can keep more volume here, keep higher levels of care more specialists in this market. I mean, we have our first ever hand surgeon, orthopedic hand surgeon who is here, fellowship trained. Until 3 months ago, you went to Chattanooga for that service, and we want to continue to provide those types of services to our community.
That's the
right
hand center.
It was where it was.
But it was,
Yes,
okay, so that's where you took over.
We bought that building as well and opened orthopedics.
What is and now? So anybody that wants to open an emergency room in Cleveland, they can't just willy-nilly do it. Do they? Everybody talks about this certificate of need.
Right.
So who gives that?
Let her talk about the certificate of need.
What is
the
that?
certificate of need process is a state process that has that grants permission to have services in the community. And what the state looks at is community need, those population numbers that I was just talking about.
But why do they even have it?
Because and politically, this is kind of changing a little bit, but the reason that they have it is because orderly development of cost-effective health care has always been a priority, and that states have always recognized, and the federal government has always recognized, that in order to have specific services in a market, you can't oversaturate that market with
Dilute it. You
can't dilute it. That's right. You can't dilute it, because if you do, they can't be profitable. It goes right back to what I was saying. Oh, well, you can't sustain it, right? And so think about the equipment that you have to spend. One piece of equipment, one MRI, is over $1 million. One. So if you're splitting that with other folks, then other healthcare providers, then you're not going to be able to provide that service in your community.
Both fail.
They both fail.
Yeah, it sounds like to me the certificate of need is not just a government regulation, but it's something that's put into place to make medical facilities sustainable so
That's
they can
correct.
stay
That's
in
correct.
business.
I think the big,
Because
yes, that's
otherwise
correct.
they'd just be diluting everything.
And there's a lot of talk going on right now about just totally abolishing certificate of need and just having free enterprise, which has happened in a few states. And so if you look at what we're trying to accomplish here, we just need to, it's not just a federal mandate or regulation. It's a gateway to make sure that it was sustainable. So if you want to go to a rural area, go to a rural area. Nobody's going to argue with you about that, but that's not anybody's target. Nobody's target is to go to remote areas.
Well, she just told you she has a new hand surgeon here. For the first time, we have a hand surgeon. Well, the hand surgeon is so specialized, they have to have this 130,000 people here
to come in
order to bring the hand surgeon in. Well, if you take and split that and we start sucking some go down to Chattanooga, then the hand surgeon can't be supported here, and now you're driving to Chattanooga to be with the hand surgeon.
Thank goodness for the certificate of need system.
And that's what the certificate of need does.
That's what it's for.
Likewise, it's
for
the same way with the MRI. You have to have a certificate of need to get an MRI machine, because the same thing would happen. You'd have no MRIs. We could either have one MRI or no MRIs, and that's what the certificate of need does. It sounds, as an entrepreneur, it sounds against every grain. You and I are both entrepreneurs. It sounds against the grain, but in this case, the certificate of need has a reason. There's a reason for that. And then when we apply for the certificate of need, there's a board over there that you go in front of. And that means because they got to look to see if the population can support all this stuff.
Or needs it. It could need it, right?
The most efficient and cost-effective way of providing that service. I mean, those are the elements that they look at. They're looking at, can the population support it? What is going on? What are the quality measures? That's another thing that they look at for any organization.
Yeah, you could have one, but it not be in a county.
Right. And so you have to be moving those things in the quality measures in the right direction. And so they look at quality, they look at population, they look at, what areas are you servicing? They look at those types of things to make the decision about whether or not to give or grant a certificate.
So as far as being out here in Cleveland and Facebook and here and there, we have no say whether they're whether it's coming or not.
Community support does mean something.
What, that much?
No, it means a lot.
It means something.
It means a lot.
It means something.
Well, okay,
It
so
does.
say the community is supporting it. We're not writing letters to anybody. How they know? I don't even know who's on the board.
Oh, they're paying attention.
There's a lot of activity out there, and there are petitions that are being signed, and there are things that are being done that would support those requests. But
One way or another.
Well,
one way or another.
One of the biggest complaint a hospital has is the emergency room.
Mm-hmm.
And when they came in, here's what they were faced with: the emergency room. My in-laws were getting old, so I spent a lot of time in the emergency room out there. The problem about the emergency room is you don't know if you're going to have 20 people walk in the door or one person walk in the door. You don't know.
Don't know.
And so if all of them come in, it creates a little bit of chaos. Now, but what happened is a for-profit hospital, they'd shut the whole top level down of the hospital up there for profit, because remember what they're doing is a for-profit hospital is controlling for the shareholder. If they miss their share price, the stock can tank real quick. So they had to extract that much profit out of it. Now to do that, they're going to keep you in the emergency room for 48 hours, laying on a stretcher, waiting on a room to open up, because they don't want to open up the floor above it, because they have to open up the whole floor when they do. Well, these people have cut from about 300 minutes to 100 minutes the times that the stay that's going to be in there. And that's a huge from here to here, and they're still working on that, because the first thing that you see is that emergency room, and that's why it's so. And that's the first thing they wanted to solve when I met with them. The first thing they want to solve, they got to get this emergency room.
It's unfair to say, "Oh, I went there 11 months ago and I stayed for so." That's irrelevant.
That was
Y'all
different-
didn't have
that was a
it then.
different company.
You didn't have it then.
Well,
even after you had it, you had to have a learning
Some
curve.
time
So
to
tell
get
us,
in.
what have you done to make this stay of them?
So-
Because at one time, back when it was 2 years ago, it was pretty bad.
I know, I
mean,
agree.
I'll be
I
honest.
agree.
It was.
Well, it's
my,
been-
my son went. It was like, it was just.
Dee, it's been a problem in this community for more than a decade.
But my
And I know that's true.
yeah.
So because I was asked to get involved, to come up here, I already knew what the things were. So, you know, what tactics we needed to put in place. We bought all new stretchers and beds, spent $2.1 million on all new stretchers and beds, so that when they need to be in there, they're comfortable. We have increased staffing by more than 200
I think
FTEs.
that's the key.
We have, before we took over, I was having conversations with the contractor that I knew had responsibility for our ER, and that was Team Health. And we added in the contract, as of August 1st, additional physician and nurse practitioner or physician assistant hours, so that we could move those patients through better. The first year that we were here, it's better now, but it's not perfect. But the first year that we were here, we were holding so many patients in the hallways of the ER because the 5th floor was closed. We've since opened the 5th floor. We had to staff that. We had to remodel it. We had to make it occupiable. So we did that. And then we have been looking at throughput. Let me back up. We have been looking at all of the ways that we can improve the efficiency during that stay, to figure out what the bottlenecks were to make that process move faster. So when we took over with the admission length of stay, so if you came into the ER and you were admitted to our hospital, on average it was taking anywhere from, if you look at the actual average, it's about 600 minutes, just under 600 minutes. The days that I remember were in the 700 numbers, and so it was terrible. And so today we're at about 375 to 80 minutes. From that, our target, the national average, is 250 minutes, and we have identified the next 3 things that we need to do to continue to bring that down. So we've reduced that number significantly.
Let me ask you this: say somebody comes in and they've got a real bad stomach ache and they need to go to the emergency room, versus somebody that comes in that was down at Marvin and Linda's Oyster Bar and they got stabbed. I'm sure that person gets quicker. That's it goes without saying, right?
Yes.
So the averages would not. the minutes wouldn't necessarily mean, you'd almost
Every
have
time.
to ask, what were the emergencies? You know, got
Yeah.
hypochondriac,
That's
or do I
true.
have somebody that's shot?
That's true.
So to me, it would be stab wounds. How fast do I get to them?
Or
30 seconds.
heart
Heart attack.
Or moving
Any
right
heart
now.
issues.
That's
So
right.
so it's very dumb to just say, what are the minutes? What kind of people you taking? Are
Well-
you at Grady in Atlanta? Are
Yeah.
you Bradley Memorial in Cleveland on a Monday night?
But it is relative to look at the number of minutes we've shaved off. You're correct. I mean, and it depends on the day. So we could have really great numbers, and we could have a huge multi-vehicle accident that's requiring everybody's attention right now. And if you're the one that's in the accident, you want that attention. And that's true for any ER.
That's what I'm saying. So it's the minutes to me don't really mean nothing because I don't know what the things were.
And they prioritize it. I mean,
That would- to me, that
they'll
would be
come in
the-
That
and
is
they'll
correct.
ask you how you feeling. If you say I'm okay, I mean, and you got somebody that came in with a heart issue, the heart guy goes. I mean, anything that's critical like that, they got to
That's
move to that
first.
first.
That's the key.
And that's why it's so hard. It's difficult to operate any emergency room like that. I don't care where it is, but these guys are just doing a great job on what they've got to do first. But you can't fix that overnight. You got to.
That's what I'm
You got to
saying.
get the flow in.
That's what I'm saying.
And you permanently can't fix it because you don't know how many people are going to get stabbed or wrecked or
what the
something like
situation is.
But I do think a relevant number that would make sense is also the patient experience scores, patient satisfaction or experience scores. So since we took over, we have improved those scores by more than 20 basis points. And so the last number that I had was we were, and this is a snapshot of the last month, was about 80% positive, whereas it was around 60%, 56% prior to. I'm saying that from memory. I know that it's 20 basis points, but that tells you how much happier people are with the care that they're receiving now. But you would have to be, in order to experience that, you would have to be going through the emergency room. I would say probably 6 months after our effective date of August 1, because it took us that long to do
that's
that.
what
I mean, you
that's what I'm
can't
saying.
even, like, it's
You
not
you
even
don't
enough
you haven't even
time.
been there long enough to have a statistic.
Well,
is
yeah.
my thought.
Yeah. And the publicly reported numbers still count the Tenova numbers because the way that works is it takes more than a year for the total numbers to roll off.
Sure,
So-
it can't be just a.
Oh, you can't just
Yeah.
poop up an
Yeah,
MD.
like a
I mean,
ball
they're not
player
out
saying
there
strike
applying for
two.
the job
That's
all
right.
the time.
That's
You gotta-
exactly
You have to
right.
recruit them. You have to
That's
go
exactly
find them
right.
and recruit them and get them in and talk them into it and all that. So
I noticed you had the new Michael Calfee, was that his name?
Yeah.
Michael. Is he the youngest of the Calfees?
I couldn't tell you that.
I couldn't
I
either.
don't know.
But I
mean,
saw
he's-
him on Steve Hartline's
Yeah.
thing. Was
Yeah.
that with you? Was that
Thanks.
with that was with Stephanie Austin, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think he was the youngest. I was Greg's, or no. Shoot, I can't remember him. I can't remember the middle one's name. Not Greg. Greg was the older one.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Greg's older, then it's him. I
Yeah.
think there's another, and then
Yeah.
there's Laura, right?
Yeah, I never knew her.
So,
But you sure seem to be on top of this stuff. I'll say this. I'll say that.
I'm a
what's your-
scrappy South Bradley County, and we're going to get this done.
What end of South County? What end of?
she's like Brer Rabbit. She's born and bred right here in the Briar Patch. So
Well, I went to Valley View, so that's how far down I was. Valley View Elementary School. You don't even know where that's at. I can tell by
Oh,
looking
do
on your
I?
face.
No.
I'm just kidding.
No, I bought a house across the street 2 weeks ago.
At Valley View?
Yeah, so
don't
you're
know.
talking about right, Cedar Springs,
Yeah.
Bucks Pocket,
That's right.
almost to Bucks Pocket.
almost a buck. Well,
Yeah.
you turn right. You turn.
turn-
How do you get to your house?
You would turn right.
Spring Place.
Buck's Pocket.
Spring
Off of
Place.
Spring Place to Hunt Road.
You went to
Spring
Hunt
Place to
Road,
Hunt
turn
Road.
right. You go about how many miles off of Spring
About
Place?
8 miles. Where the
South.
south. And so where the fire truck station is down there on
All right,
Keith
so
Valley.
now we're talking about where you live. You go down
Yeah.
That's where she
Spring
grew
Place
up.
Road.
That's where I grew up. Mhm.
Take a right on what, Hunt Road? Mm-hmm.
Keith Valley first.
Oh, not Stiles Lane.
And you
Keith
go how
Valley.
far down Keith Valley,
About 8 miles.
which is a long ways.
And then you
On the
hang
right
right.
or left?
Right, and then you hang right.
You're in the middle
is that
of
where Ron?
nowhere.
In the middle of nowhere.
Is
Pump
that
the
where Ron
sunshine.
Hill has his chicken farm? Ronnie Hill? Ronnie Price?
Yes.
Ron Price?
Okay, so Ronnie.
You know Ron Price?
Yes, Ronnie Price. His property at
You
my.
got to know Ron Price. If you know Ron Price, you know Ron Price.
That's right. Ron's property and my grandfather's property butt up against each other.
Well, let me tell
you. Yes, I know him well, if that tells you anything.
Dee, that's a non-trick-or-treating area. You cannot trick-or-treat
You can't
where
trick
she
or treat
grew
there.
up.
No, you
Well,
can't.
I
We have to
sold-
drive into Centenary.
Yeah, right sitting there, yeah.
I think I sold him part of that property.
You did.
Yeah, I think I did. Me and
Wow.
John Paul Douglas.
So did you know Kenneth Ogle? Kenneth K.D. Ogle? I mean, it's right there.
No,
It's
but I
right
know
down
Ron.
Kahlo.
I know Ron from
But
Waffle
his
House.
property is like, I mean, it is adjacent to. His zebras would get on our
There
property.
used to be an old
all kinds
grocery
of stuff.
store down there on the left.
Reese Donahue's grocery.
Reese
and
Donahue's
yeah.
grocery store.
That's
And
correct.
Thacker's.
Yes.
Thacker's.
I mean, it was
over-
just it was one of the last ones closed, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you were out there nowhere. Well, you just can't get there, can you?
No,
You just can't get there.
no, no, you can't get there. So yeah. That's
What do
where
you
I'm
think,
from.
Alan, is the biggest, other than, what else can they bring here? They brought, what, 17 physicians, medical positions,
Well,
and they've got a new
we're-
mammogram machine,
That's right. Yep.
That's
Just upgraded that to the digital
to the
mammography.
yeah. So that was
3D.
that was pretty significant, right?
Needed to do that for 10 years, but
Yeah.
yes.
Park Ridge is owned by HCA, a wonderful based Tennessee company, earns $70 billion a year. I mean, they generate $70 billion a year, and they earned $5.7 billion last year. That went to the shareholders. Now, but when you say what are we going to do, what are they going to do? We will be able to recruit top physicians, and that's my interest. If they can get this worked out and the community gets behind it. And one of the things I don't think people realize, Jane and I flew up. They have a big soiree down, fundraiser. What do you call that down in Dalton? What's your?
It is called the, I have.
Trying to get
forgotten
money
it.
out of people.
No,
It's
it's called Blueprints. Blueprint.
Blueprints.
Yes.
Well, but what it is they have they had about 500 people there. We don't even have any place to have anything that big. And Jane and I, we flew out of Palm Beach, and we went up last, I guess it was in January, and I went in there and I saw exactly what they were doing. They're cultivating the community. So they're going to get everybody involved in the community here. It's going to be our hospital. This is our hospital. This isn't owned by shareholders. It's a community hospital again. Then it's going to allow us to compete with Emory, Vanderbilt, and UAB for physicians. It's all about, you got to bring those top dollar guys in here, the Hollywood type doctors, and then they're the Pied Pipers. They'll bring the other physicians in, but we can do that. This can work, and we can be a medical center right here of the South right here.
I know Alan's gotten a lot. I saw some of the Facebook posts about how much money is it. I'd say he is truly community oriented.
You're
I mean,
right.
he cares more about Cleveland and Bradley County. It's just, it really doesn't make sense. But this is his passion. I mean, I don't know why,
He
but it
always
is.
has been
It
that
always,
way.
it just is. I mean,
Yes.
he's not getting anything out of it.
So when I knew that we were going to be purchasing, when I knew that our facility was going to be purchasing, I'll be honest, he was one of the first people that I talked to my boss about and tried to reach out about, because I knew once he understood and knew what we were doing, he would be this passionate about Cleveland and Bradley County and its healthcare, because that's all he has ever done his entire life is try to make Cleveland better.
For no other reason.
For no other reason
no other
than to
reason.
make it better. And
The,
that's true.
But the whole, listen, I'm a little bit, you're making me this wonderful person, but listen, you got to understand.
Well, we're not doing that
By the
much.
time
No, really not doing
by the
that.
time this comes out, I'm gonna be age 73. I have a vested interest in good health care, okay? The older you get, the more you go to the doctor, and the more you think about these things. And when you're your age, Dee, you don't think much about it.
Well, it's getting closer.
You get to my age,
We need to quit taking these BC powders.
well, those both solve a lot of problems.
Yes, I believe.
But I mean, that is
They
all he's
create
getting out of
two,
this.
solve three.
That is all he's getting out of this, is trying to advance healthcare in Cleveland. But it's
the
also
sa- it's
the same thing I'm doing.
It's the same thing with who's that the Halloween thing?
Tall Betsy?
Tall Betsy. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
He's very community oriented.
Yes, for sure.
We're very lucky.
Yeah,
Any criticism is wrong.
Unless your house was next door to Tall Betsy, you weren't very happy with it.
You know, but one of the things that we have seen a lot on comments on Facebook, both following his post and others that we've done, is this United Healthcare issue. And so I'd like to talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, well, let me ask you this. The biggest thing I've seen on Facebook with all of this is I would go there, but they don't take my health care with this United Healthcare. Is that a problem? Is that an issue?
We understand the frustration around United Healthcare and the way that the patients are feeling that we are not a network. We continue to believe that we have an active contract and are in network with United, and we continue to stand by the community by accepting those patients at our hospital. If it's okay with you, what I'd like to do is just read an excerpt from a press release that'll be going out soon that'll kind of define that a little bit for us, because we have to be...
So you're saying this is not something you're unaware of. You're working on this.
Yes, we are working on this to resolve it.
If you don't mind.
I don't mind. Thank you for allowing me to do that. Bradley Medical Center did not walk away from negotiations with United Healthcare. Actually, United Healthcare issued us an ultimatum. Bradley Medical Center continues ready to negotiate to protect local patient care. Bradley Medical Center wants the community to know that we did not walk away from the negotiations with United Healthcare. While we were preparing a fair counteroffer, UHC gave us just 2 days to accept a proposal, one that pays less than what it costs us to provide care to patients. In an email dated September the 15th, UHC, or United Healthcare, said, United's August the 21st proposal for Bradley Medical Center represents the maximum offer we are willing to extend. If Hamilton Health, that would be our parent company, is unable to accept United's August the 21st offer to Bradley, please inform us by the end of the week. This was on a Wednesday, so that would have been Friday, 2 days, so that we can redirect our focus. Bradley Medical Center has always been ready to negotiate a fair contract that keeps care local and affordable for the Cleveland families. Some of the key facts are we didn't walk away. United Healthcare refused to consider a counteroffer. The rates that United Healthcare offered were really much lower than what the area rates are from other hospitals. That's available through the Transparency Act. More of that will be forthcoming. Our offer was reasonable. We asked them for rates that were similar to the what the hospitals are receiving at this time. And the thing that was most disheartening for me is that we were only negotiating commercial rates with United Healthcare, and the Medicare Advantage contract was never at risk as far as we were concerned. That was not anything we were negotiating. However, when we received the termination of what they felt was the then existing contract, not the contract we feel that we're covered under now and are still honoring the terms of that contract, it also terminated the Medicare Advantage patients, which put so many of our seniors at risk, and we're doing everything we can to take care of those patients. Now, I'll tell you, my own mother-in-law is covered under United Healthcare's Medicare Advantage plan, and we had an emergency with her last week. She was in the ER. She came in through the ER, and she was terrified. I mean, she's my mother-in-law. She was terrified about whether they were going to pay or not going to pay. We fought with United to try, and this was an emergency. She came in via ambulance. We fought with them to get approval for a surgery that was needed, and we had to go ahead and do the surgery without the authorization from United because they were battling back and forth, and it was in the best interest of the patient, and we're trying to do that for every patient that comes into the door.
Well, now, Lisa, I think my wife Janie was on the board of the foundation of Hamilton. Of Memorial Hospital for about 10 years down in Chattanooga. These disputes come up with hospitals all the time. This isn't something unusual. It just hit at a very hard time for you all just coming into the marketplace. Is that more correct?
That is exactly correct.
And so when they had this big Memorial and Blue Cross Blue Shield had the big standoff down there, that got resolved, but it caused the same issue. So this is something that happens across the state all the time.
Yeah.
So the community needs to not panic on this. This is something, we've got to get it worked out. Y'all have got to get it, hopefully we'll get this thing worked out.
Agreed. And it is top of mind and something we focus on every day in our organization. There is nothing that is more important to us than taking care of the patients that are here. And, United has made that very difficult. There will be information that's available to reach out to United as patients and insureds there, and we will give you more information on the website. And we're also offering that if you have an issue that you email or call our facility, and we will walk through those issues with you to try to get them resolved as much as possible.
You know what Jones Management did. Now, I'm not a part of the hospital, so I don't really know the details. I'm not an officer of the hospital or anything like that. But what Jones Management did is we quit using United Healthcare. We went and got another company. And there's a lot of people that are doing that, that's getting another company. But the problem is, see, United Healthcare, we're one county, and United Healthcare has 94 other counties to muscle around our hospital with. But it's just, I look at it as really a short-term situation for United Healthcare.
Yes, agreed. And, the other thing I want everyone to be aware of is that even through this challenge and this fight, our focus is trying to do the right things for patients. If we were to accept the contract rates that we were given, then it would go back to sustainability and the ability to provide more services, et cetera, because there wasn't enough margin or to cover even most of the costs for various surgeries. I mean, those contract negotiations with healthcare is very complex, but overall, the vast majority was just unacceptable, especially when we're aware of what other hospitals are receiving in the region.
So if you would accept just whatever rate they paid your Dalton hospital, correct?
That is the contract that we are currently under, and we intend for them to honor that, yes.
Okay. So it's just the same rate. It's nothing unusual then.
Right.
Thank you.
I'm so sorry that it's been so confusing.
That helps a lot of questions.
Yes.
To a lot of people that this is a big deal to.
Yes. And it's a big deal to us too.
It's more bigger deal to them.
Yes, I agree.
On an individual basis.
I agree.
And just knowing that you're working on it is a big deal.
Yes.
Well, remember, it hit at just the most inopportune time. They had just got a hold of the company. I mean, they just got a hold of the hospital, just got the management in place, and that contract expired. This happens all the time across the country.
I think we just answered a big question here, why it's important to have community-based.
Yes, I believe
that's a good point. And this is what the community can do. And also working together, it's going to help the network by being able to use, we now have Dalton and Cleveland together working on that.
Because as we speak right now, somebody's in the emergency room, 3 miles down the road. Hopefully they're not watching HGTV in the exam room, and they're waiting on the doctor, and they've got United Healthcare. That's the person that matters. All this doesn't matter.
You're right. You're absolutely right. And, like I said, seeing it up close and personal firsthand, there's no consoling that you can give, especially a senior living on a fixed income. there's nothing that you can really do to help them feel comfortable when they're hearing something totally different, even though we are honoring the contract that we are under at this time. And so we hope to have this resolved as soon as possible. We think that it's the right thing for the community, and even fighting this battle is the right thing for the community.
This is bothering you, isn't it? I can tell this is bothering you.
It keeps me up at night.
You feel responsible.
I feel responsible.
That you have to be doing this.
Yes.
It's daunting. Is your job daunting?
I love what I do. There are battles that we have to fight to get where we need to go, because we have had healthcare that was different and we were behind for 2 decades. It's my honor to serve this community and have a seat at this table to help. The challenges are not important. The focus is on the outcome for our community, and that's the most important thing to me.
Where did you get not the need for community, but where did you get this drive to help in the healthcare part of our community? I mean, couldn't it have been Cleveland Utilities or phone company or Spectrum, or why here?
Not for me. Healthcare is a sacred place. It's a place where we take care of people, and I believe that it's an honor and a privilege to be able to focus on taking care of your loved ones. It's a scary time. It's a crisis time. Being able to hold somebody's hand and help make something easier during one of the scariest times of their lives, or even uncomfortable, or they're worried. I mean, to me, it is so much more than a dollar on Wall Street. It's about connecting with people and connecting with our community, and it's about making sure that if something's going wrong in the ER, because like Mr. Jones said, you really don't know what's going to hit you, that you have a phone number to call, and there's someone who can walk down there and help you take care of that loved one or that person, because my entire team is very, very passionate about making sure that we're doing the right thing. And I think that where it comes from is really my heritage. I mean, I'm, born and raised here in South Bradley County.
Go deeper. Was there ever an experience with
what drives me is just, I've spent my entire life just trying to do the right things and making my life better than where I was raised. And I have an incredible family, incredible support. And I always knew that I wanted to do something to make a difference. And so my goal, early on, I really wanted to become a physician, but that seemed too far-fetched and was going to take way too long. 14 years after graduating high school was just I just wasn't willing to do that. So going this route has really helped me to fulfill that calling without, having to spend 14 additional years. So I totally respect what they're doing. And, I feel like, if the physicians aren't taking care of the patients, we have no patients. If they're not signing orders and taking care of all those patients, then there's no need for me. So I serve both the patients and the physicians, because they're what makes the world go round, and they're what gets us back to where we need to be.
Dee, she's worked for a profit hospital and a non-profit hospital. Mm-hmm. And now she's working where she's operating the hospital based on service, providing service to our community. Before, she was having to manage the hospital based on profit, on keeping the highest, the less staff, the better.
Earnings.
And now you're operating a hospital completely different, because now they've got to make a profit, but they can not make a profit. What's more important to them is they get the service. They got to get the service and at least break even. But operating under those circumstances is a lot more enjoyable if you're interested just in the patient.
I think she's operating more as a facilitator and a liaison for all these different parts that put this together. That makes sense.
Yeah, I do. Collaboration is part of my leadership style, for sure. I'll tell you, one of the so far, most proud moments that I've had during this 15, 16 months that we have owned the facility is we went through a joint commission survey. So every 3 years, there's a joint commission evaluation that is done that really it dictates whether or not you participate with Medicare or not. If you don't have the certification, you can't bill Medicare for your services. So it's a big deal. It's a really big deal. And so I've sat through so many of those, and I was so compelled. And when the last day of the survey, we had heard all of these amazing things throughout the survey, but I think it was summed up when they said to us, we've reviewed over 1,400 standards of participation, and we have 24 findings for you, and only six of them are clinical. They said, you've changed a culture in 1 year, and we usually see it take 3 to 5 years for culture change like this to take place because they have the notes from when they were there before. And they also said, your hospital is on the verge of something great. And I take such great pride in that because that's a reflection of my team, and it's a reflection of the culture change, and it's a reflection of the service attitude that we have every single day. We start our day in a safety huddle. We have a safety huddle at 9:15 every morning to talk about the things that are going on. And we talk about our pledge, which is excellence, every person, every time. And that's what we intend to happen. Does that mean nothing bad happens? No, but it means you get back on the road to excellence, and you do the service recovery, and you think about the collateral, and you do the things that you need to do to fix it, because these are our friends, family, and we need to be there for them in every possible way. And that affirmation from the Joint Commission this year was just overwhelming to me and the team.
I tell you when I noticed things were going good is when you hired Leslie Painter.
Of course.
Boy, you don't get any smarter, do you?
I know. She's a go-getter.
She's so smart.
She's
Well,
so
there-
helpful.
Gosh,
She's there
smart.
to help cultivate the community and get people involved.
Yes.
Well, she's just smart.
She is.
We're getting her on board was.
Let's talk about your new board.
Well, I mean, her brother, Alan Smith, is our board chair. I'm super
Yeah,
excited
I'd rather
about
have
that.
Leslie.
Well, Alan, I worked with Alan when he was also on the board for Cleveland Community. So when we started this board, I was honored that he would say yes. He's like Leslie, I think they just are a smart family, right? And so I knew that financially he would look over what we were doing and how we were moving things forward, and he would be very, very honest to give feedback, and that's what we were looking for. And we also found the same thing with John Sheehan, who is also he's our co-chair.
He really cares.
He does.
John Sheehan is a major business guy.
Yeah,
he is.
He
He
owns
is.
his own business, and he's a very wealthy guy. Been very successful.
Yes.
So that's the type of guys that you're trying, and the chairman was worked in the banking industry all of his life, so he can
Yes.
read balance sheets and things like that. So by bringing these own directors in to run the company here locally, these are local people. These are our citizens that are put on the board.
Yeah,
to
it's
run.
us. It's us.
Yeah, we can do it. We can do this.
So let's do my thing. Let's say this is Vitruvian in Ocoee. I mean in Dalton.
Yeah.
They've purchased Tenova, and they have appointed a board. They've hired a CEO. You've appointed a board to govern this. And are they allowing this to be autonomous? I mean, do they?
We do have some of the Vitruvian board members. There's a couple of Vitruvian board members who are also on
But
this
is
board.
this board?
Yes. Yes. In conjunction, yes.
Like, for example,
If this board says we're going to start serving this in the cafeteria, as minor as that, that's what they start serving in the cafeteria.
Well, probably that wouldn't get to the board level,
But if
yes.
it did, would they have that authority?
Yes.
yeah,
So-
this is a complete autonomous board. The chairman of the hospital down there is a member of the hospital board here. But he's there to kind of direct these other directors. But the whole idea is to keep it community operated But they're going to provide some directions to make sure everything goes directly. But that board controls the hospital.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So what was their benefit in purchasing?
So part of it was really about remaining autonomous. So they were while they have a complete system, and in Dalton, Georgia, there really isn't competition that comes in because the community members lock arms and say, no, you can't come in. So, and we need to get to that point. But the reality is they needed to have a strategic vision that would allow them to expand and become a larger health system in order not to be acquired by another facility that was a for or not-for-profit chain. For example, if they hadn't bought Cleveland, and the way that you look at the geographic landscape of healthcare in this region, Cleveland was at risk of being sold to somebody. So if they were sold to another health system, then that would landlock Dalton, and they would kind of be on all four corners. There would be nowhere for them to expand to continue their strategy. So the benefit for them was it was a bigger health system. Going back to that population, Mr. Jones said earlier that he was talking about the cardiac surgery that they have in Dalton. In order to have enough population to support that service line, then you really need more. You need a bigger population than 115, 20, 30,000 people. So it gives you the ability.
It gives them some negotiating power by recruiting physicians, and it gives them more negotiating power. Also, the truth of the matter is, and she's not really saying this, they have been so incredibly successful down there. I've seen their balance sheet. These people are incredibly successful. And when you say nobody can get into Dalton, they can't get into Dalton. It's just like wrestling up here in Cleveland. You cannot beat Cleveland, Tennessee in wrestling, because we've got wrestling locked up here. And they're trying to accomplish that in Bradley County. If they can just duplicate, then it becomes a big, then we can bring in, start recruiting these physicians.
So it was to increase their economies of scale.
That's one way to look at it, basically.
My company, Dee, is buying, we've bought several acquisitions, and it's called accretiveness. We can, see, they have a lobbyist.
Accretiveness.
It's accretiveness. We'll cut, and we'll take millions of dollars of accretiveness when we buy a company and take out of the budget that goes straight to profit, because we already have a law department, we already have a payroll department and all that. And that's what they're doing. This is accretive to them. It's going to give them more ability by having these two hospitals together. But they want to achieve, if they can achieve in our market what they've done down there, it's going to be something, in 5 or 6 years you won't be able to recognize. But it's going to take that long to get this whole campus built out.
The Dalton board, both the Hamilton Medical Center board and the Vitruvian board, the entire culture is fiercely independent. They do not want to be a part of corporate, publicly traded medicine. They do not want it. So in order to make that less likely of happening, they knew that they needed to expand their geographic footprint.
It's just part of it.
It's just part of it
to stay alive. You just have to grow. Like a bank has to progress or get out of the business.
One of their board members is Lamar Lyle, who has Lyle Industries down there. They make a lot of carpet. Another one is Vance Bell. Vance was CEO of Shaw Industries, had about 15,000 employees worldwide, the biggest industry down there.
Small guy.
That's the people who are running this show, helping run the show. And so they're putting that in place here by naming their own board up here to let the thing operate on its own.
That's
but
a great thing.
If you take a look at some of their board members, it's really incredible.
My cousins live there. Rodney Orby, Rudy Orby, do you know them? Orby Oil Enterprise. That was my cousin.
Okay.
That is my cousin.
Okay.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's the highlight of your
That's the
video,
highlight. Well, he's well known there, Rodney.
Yeah.
He really is.
Yeah.
At least to you.
Yeah. But he really is. He was on several bank boards and everything else. So what else is there?
Well, we have a lot to look forward to. We have a lot of things that we have on the forefront. We're looking at a 10-year plan. We're excited about unveiling that as we move forward. We're looking at possibilities like on the property that we have across the street, having a new ambulatory surgery center. We're looking in the next, and this is a 10-year plan again. We don't have the priorities outlined yet, but a new women's center. We're looking at adding additional services in cardiac. We've already done that somewhat. We've brought electrophysiology to the market. We also have a structural heart physician who's it's a little higher level cardiology service that we're providing. And we're doing that because we are an extension of the Hamilton group. Their folks come up here and the physicians come here and help us to provide those services in our market. So we're looking at ways that we can expand the services that we have, effective in a few months. I can't remember the months, so I just will let you know that we are beginning to look at having an inpatient neurology inpatient hospitalist for neurology, which means that less and less of the neurology patients will be transferred down. That's one of our biggest transfers out. So we're trying to get that service built up, and we have a physician who is signed. We need another one to complete the service, but we're excited about that as well. Lots more things coming up, and I hope you'll let me come back and talk about those things as they come up.
I'd love to, yeah. This is really, really important, this sort of thing for the discussion. And I hope you don't think it's an interview, because we don't really do interviews. It's just discussion, just like this. It's just no prep, no editing.
It's not a discussion, it's a Dee-Scussion. We might as well rebrand it right here and now.
Right here and now. Let's do it right here.
Whenever you read a story in the newspaper or see something on television about somebody getting arrested, you naturally assume they're guilty. Unless the story is about you or someone you love, then you'll think differently. And you'll want a lawyer who will defend you. My name's Scott Canavis. If you or someone you love has been charged with a crime, call me. I'll return your phone calls, I'll work on your case, and I will defend you.
What else is what do you got going on next week? Christmas?
Well, we got Christmas coming up, and I'm going to be leaving to Palm Beach here shortly.
The 30th or what, 31st?
I'll go on the 30th or 31st. I'm looking forward. I got 3 cars down there with the tops off of them. I'm looking forward to that. So
I had lunch with Eddie Dyer today.
Well,
at Captain D's.
I just got back from a Christmas party at the White House, and I got to meet a bunch of people. I was in.
You ate with Donald Trump, and I ate with Eddie Dyer.
You did. And one of the things is Janie. We're there at the White House, and President Trump comes in, and he sees we're in the back, but he sees Janie, and he starts hollering how beautiful she is. Like you say, I hope he doesn't want her, but he noticed her and said, "You're beautiful, and your daughter's beautiful too." And he kept doing like this. Well, after he left, and everybody wanted to meet Janie, they thought she was somebody. Her head got really big. So.
Hope you don't say that to my wife, because she really likes it.
No. But anyway, we're looking forward to what the hospital can do in the next generation. And one of the things I've been working on is trying to get people to be born here in Bradley County. To be right here, not go to Chattanooga, but to try to have your babies here in Bradley County. And I think we had a Star is Born project. We might try to bring that back.
Oh yeah, that was an old thing, wasn't it? Remember when they used to put the newborn babies in for the year? Was that a thing?
Yeah, well, the first baby of the year was a big thing. See,
yeah.
I was the tax deduction.
Yeah, why was that?
I was December 31st. I was the first.
What does that mean?
Well, who was the first baby born of the year of the whole town? That's a big deal. Who's your first baby? Everybody waits to have the first baby.
But I don't know why. What's the tax advantage?
The tax advantage is you get a deduction.
For the whole year, how much is the deduction?
For the whole year.
You got,
For the whole, how much is it?
It's a whole year.
How much of what?
Well, it's a whole year on a tax. I'm not sure your audience
What,
wants to hear about
3,000,
this
4,000?
tax stuff, but I know taxes. But it's a deduction. If there's two of you and you got two, you claim two dependents. Now you get to claim three dependents. And remember, my daddy got to claim me as a dependent. I was only 17 hours of the whole year, but I got the benefit of the full tax benefit. And then whoever's the first baby born of the year in the town is a big deal.
So we need to find 73 stars for the Stars Born to celebrate your birthday as the first baby
remember, I'm the
born.
first baby,
The
but
first baby.
but we need to probably start looking at we need to have pictures of all the first babies going forward that's born in the first on the first of the year.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a pacifier. I'll go get it. So anyway, I grew up at the hospital there and I what you don't realize is Dee likes to take his BC powder and puts it here. If this is the hospital block and the hospital is here, so if the hospital is here, I grew up right here. And this was the hospital woods. And me and Scott Taylor and Jim Park and all of us would play back there in the hospital woods. And when Scott Taylor and I were in the 4th grade, they gave me a Boy Cub Scout hatchet.
I don't want to hear about Rodney Ormby, but
I took my hatchet back there and we chopped a bunch of trees down and got in trouble. But I grew up playing out there in the hospital woods. So
I remember just, my mother worked there, my wife worked there. I used to go.
Bill Torrance was a administrator.
Bill Torrance, Ralph Blair was in the mechanics. Do you ever know Ralph Blair? But I used to go. My wife worked at the dietary at Cleveland Community under that lady's name, Miss Cruz or something.
Kathy Fall is the one that was over there. That I don't know.
This was Cruz,
Okay.
and then she went to work at the hospital dietary, then went to work for the pharmacy department, and then moved on to the.
I saw your mom last week.
And then
She's
my
still
wife was a
working
nurse there. She's on that
Was
on-call stuff.
your wife worked there?
She was a nurse, she is a nurse.
Growing up there as a kid,
Yeah.
if I heard the ambulance and I jumped on my Stingray bicycle, the second I heard that ambulance and I could get to the hospital emergency room in time to put my hand on the window and look in to see what was going on. Now, one of the things we didn't talk about is West Side. West Side, you're
That's
interested
right.
in opening that back up?
Well, one of the things that we have done is we're granted a certificate of need for a joint venture with Siskin. So we will be opening that up as a part of an inpatient rehab facility. That'll be happening in the fall of next year. The other thing that was a part of that plan is also to reopen the ER back there. 12 beds on the backside of the ER to both support Siskin and also have expanded services in the community.
That's interesting.
It is interesting.
Yeah, well, they had a pretty nice emergency room there.
Yep.
Vaughn Baker went there.
But they have the physicians right here in town that can service that.
Right.
Where Park Ridge, you have to go to Chattanooga.
The other thing that I think is interesting about the potential freestanding ED certificate of need with Park Ridge is not only do they not have anything but except ER physicians there, and they're geographically about 29 miles from downtown Park Ridge, which is their host hospital, which is where you would go if you need a transfer. If you change your mind, Dee, and you want to stay here, the patient would likely incur an additional ER visit that they have to pay for if they want to stay in town. Or it would be denied altogether, and that would be out of their pocket, and an ambulance ride over to Bradley. So those are other things to just be aware of.
Did you ever watch MASH?
Yeah, yes, occasionally I watch MASH.
If this was on a MASH show, the emergency room is where Honeycutt is at. And so when you get done, they're going to send you to post-op, or they're going to send you over to Korea. Which one do you want to go to? This one's post-op.
Yes.
That's Korea.
That's right.
So to me, you just want to go right next door, and that's where y'all are at.
That's right.
And I think that sums it up.
That's right.
Don't you?
Yes, I think it sums it up.
Are you good?
If this
You
ain't-
warming up?
If I'm warming up a little bit. Dee had it, for all the listeners, Dee has it real cold in here. And
I had it
next time
72.
I suggest somebody bring the
He's
little
only-
rock gobbler and plug it in.
Hey, it's been a great show. Anything
Thank you so
else?
much. Thank
Hey,
you.
I really appreciate you coming.
It's
And
my
Alan, I
pleasure.
appreciate you putting this together. I
Well,
really
I'm
do.
missing it. The University
I really-
of Tennessee's playing
and thanks for coming.
basketball
It's my
right
pleasure.
now, and I'm missing it. And I'm just hoping